All right, let's get it started then. Yeah, we're reviewing Rialto today. Some things I'm going to cover. We're going to go over the key areas first, just so you have an idea of like the different rotations you can do and how you can get on the enemies depending on where they're positioned. And then we're going to go through some specific comps at request of the team, I guess. So we're going to do hybrid and double bubble attack, and then we might talk a little bit about like SimTP Brawl, just because I've seen it happen a lot. But it won't be like a super big focus. And then on defense, we're going to look at double shield, double bubble, and hybrid defense, mainly with like ball sigma on defense. So if we're going over the key areas first, if we think about where you can hold on first point, yeah, there's a few main areas. Actually, I might just get up the different map for this. Yeah, so people will hold like high ground. Oh, that pen's a little small. Yeah. So people will hold up here quite a lot. You'll have like a Sigma with an Ash off angling sort of here. You're gonna have people holding main at this corner for like a spawn peak and then backing off to this corner. This is where you'll see most like first point defensive holds, other than like retakes. So that like you'll see like an Orisa or a Rhine sort of there. You're gonna see a lot of people at the start. You'll have people like sniping like here, ready to drop back, or sniping maybe top right as well, and rotating back through here, or even just peeking with like a tracer or a Hanzo or something like that. As for like the second bit, so the second part of it, you're gonna have people playing bush quite a lot, right? So you're gonna have like a BAP or an Ana. A lot of them will gravitate towards playing here because you have minimal cover, but you can see people holding this corner. And assuming that they do their job right, holding the corner, they shouldn't get that much poke coming in from like enemies. So they're only really vulnerable to people who manage to get to high ground and people who rotate through the bridge.
By the way, the other rotation, other flank in the building, the one comes from the
from under.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's also important in my opinion, and that's also commonly used. Maybe when we play this map, uh, do we want to put someone there covering that flank?
Covering that flank. It depends on where you're holding, because if you're as like if you're playing bushes and you're gonna be in that vulnerable spot, it might be worth at least having like if you have someone up here, then they can like scout the bottom area, and if anyone goes there, like if you put a diva up there, then you can drop down, contest it, and then fly back up. Or you can have like so that it's another thing worth to be like sort of aware of for sure. I'll go through some other like all the attacking lanes basically. So obviously you have main, you just have payload, you push through, and that's like the main objective. You can flank right side through bridge. Often you'll see spawn holds here. I think that's sort of outdated, but people definitely used to do that back in goats and sort of recently as well. So you might just want to like clear that with like a Hanzo Sonic or something. But you'll see people flank here to attack bush, attack people here, that sort of thing. And then you'll have like a big plethora of attacks that you can do around the left side. So people will walk like, or that doesn't quite work, but people will walk here and they can go inside. And from inside, you can peek there, like Neff said, you can go up the stairs. You can go up here. You can go up the stairs and then pinch here so that any bunker on top, you can pinch them with like a ball. There's also like the fully deep left flanks, so people can go here and peek here. They can go up the stairs and contest like a widow who's playing super far back, or they can even just like spawn camp over this way. So that's like another thing to be careful of. If you know someone's there, it might be like worth keeping an eye on. Just some final notes is if you like I know people a lot will play like there's like the big roof here, and people will like echo spam over this roof, or they'll Pharah spam on attack and defense.
Yeah.
So it's worth like having a hit scan who's like ready to shoot there. or that sort of thing, or using it yourself with like an echo or something. That covers first point. I'll move to second. On second point, you're gonna see like a lot of the time there'll be people on this bridge that you can clean up because they'll try to recontest and either you like they don't reach it or their tank gets killed and their backline's left in the open, so you can just kill people there and then push cart. You have some like lanes that your supports can take advantage of, even if your divers are gonna come from like super bad flanks. So your supports can rotate up right stairs and go this way if they have like peel from a diva. If they're using cart to push for a while and your monkey's contesting high ground, sometimes you can put your supports up this way and either peek bottom left or take the stairs and peek that way. Because often that's a little bit safer than walking all the way around here when any Hanzo can peek here and shoot you. Right? So that's a nice
Yeah.
idea. A lot of the time, defenders will hold up here or they'll hold like right underneath it, or they'll have like a combination of those two spots. So you might have Orisa low ground, Sigma high ground, and then Baptiste can like jump between them depending on where the pressure is. Just one final note is be careful of the wall climb here. You know, like Lucio's can come up in C9 from that route if cart is close, just jump over.
Yeah, one thing with the staircase, there's like a little balcony when you're attacking. Yes, when you take over that little balcony over there, it's whenever I do or we do take that balcony, we get pushed back most likely, and it's really hard to push out anymore from there.
So
It's really hard to keep that high ground, to be
yeah,
honest,
so
as
you've
attackers.
taken this route and then you're trying to hold here,
Yeah,
right? And
and
then you're trying to spam that.
we always get pushed
Yeah,
because
and they'll
it's really
always push
tight.
back. Yeah, I mean that is definitely like a super key area and like just controlling the entirety of second point basically. So obviously they're going to dedicate a lot of resources to that. One thing is depending on what comp you have, right? So your backline in ball comp is going to be super fragile. Your backline in like a double bubble will be less fragile, but it's still pretty weak. So you either want to like plan beforehand how you're gonna get out. So you might just drop off this way to this mini and then like rotate through main and have an effect through main that way. Or if you like preemptively make sure you break that so you can jump back off. Depending on if you have someone low ground like a diva to peel for you, sort of thing. Or you just don't fully like go for that spot in the first place. So let's say you've taken this route, you don't have to like recontest here. You can just drop through main through the window, or you can drop here and just not even risk getting like picked at those stairs. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Um, that basically covers second point. As for third point, I feel like there's two different like sections to third point in my mind. So you know there's the first contest where you have like you know someone will play this corner basically, and then you'll have people splitting, people playing the window, people playing like a tracer lurking down here. You can have like really strong ideas for just like spawn peeking even just here with like a soldier or something, because soldier can like run away quite easily, right? So that's going to be like your first contest. And then once you push through that, then the second contest is really just like a scramble to touch. So if you can get there fast, then you can test at the front corner. If not, you can test at this corner and get flanked way easier, and flanked through there. And eventually, like I feel like it's really difficult to hold at the final like end of this map unless it's like a really weak time bank for the enemies. So if the enemies have time and they're pushing third point Rialto, they should get it. So ideally, you want to be holding like further forward, like here, basically.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flanks though, like so. This building is like pretty good for flanks. So you can flank through this way, you can flank up the stairs. It's getting pretty messy, but and then you can flank through this side and take control of this mega and like spam from this way. So there's like a lot of different routes that like this is a really that one is a really good one for Ball. So Ball can do here. He has a lot of cover from this wall, and then come in and slam a core like round main, and then Tracer can pinch from in here, and your backline just postures through main or postures up through window. I think that's like a really strong sort of idea. Um, I think there's some like weird Doom tech that some people do where they like go on the roofs up here. So if you know they have Doom, it's worth just like keeping an eye out on the roofs. But other than that, that basically covers the like key areas and attacking lanes for this map, I think.
All right.
Yeah. Uh yeah. Um we're gonna go through some defensive setups first, and then we'll go like through the attacking comps. So I go through everything, and then I go through double shield, just because I think there was quite a heavy emphasis on double shield on this map, so it's worth knowing like super in depth on how to like beat it out and stuff. But first double bubble, you'll see some like super split stuff. So Monkey will often not play the low ground here, but he'll play high ground. Just because it's like a much safer cleave position, and it can sort of contest any tracer that comes up here with like Zarya bubbles. And your Zarya will often play like bushes or further forward here, depending on how like aggro you want to be, how many ults you have, how little ults they have. This sort of like ebb and flow type of like push and pull situation. Um,
What about the further balcony, the small
this
one,
one,
the L? No, 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 the L one, the L-shaped one. Yeah.
yeah,
Is it okay to position your monkey over there and in the room, most
just
likely,
like in
because
here, yeah.
yeah, then he goes in for drop and Zaya bubbles him from
So
the other balcony.
I
We-
like this,
Yeah,
but mainly as like a first fight sort of situation, because after you've done that once, they'll normally dedicate like a Hanzo wall climb up here just to like clear you out or something. But I like this as a neutral fight. So you wait in here, you wait for cart to push, and then you drop and you Zarya bubble and you jump out, either to like main or to this high ground, and then hold as like that main high ground. But I do like that for early cleave and making sure you get primal first, and just taking enough damage that you farm some nano, because nano is your win con here basically. Um, on defense, I'm going to normally recommend having like a core DPS instead of like double flanker or double roam. So it makes the holding bush slightly like stronger, because otherwise you're on like Brig Anna, and then you don't have like a McCree or a Hanzo just to like deter people from just hard engaging on you and just skipping past your Zarya and Monkey. You know, they can just jump right over it, sort of thing. So normally, yeah, I'd recommend having like a Hanzo or a McCree or a Torb or an Ashe, just like supplement your backline's strength. Um, as for second and third point, I think there are some decent ideas on second with double bubble, just because you have nice high ground contest. And like you said, if people play here, it's quite easy to dedicate resources and push them back, right?
yeah.
So I would definitely like,
Because I feel like you're pushing out of a choke,
yeah,
in such a wide area that you can be shot from basically any angle.
yeah, it's definitely a really open angle, which is why it's going to be like super fragile unless you have like a really strong core, like a Sigma and like a and like Anna Brig or something like that. So yeah, it's definitely going to be super open. So that means that Monkey has a really nice jump here, or even a jump into window and then cleaving this entire area to force them out. And then that's sort of like pinching, because you'll send someone up here and Monkey flank here, and there's nowhere to go other than down, which is a really like vulnerable location still after they've already like had to use their cooldowns. For sure. And third, I would maybe even recommend swapping on third, maybe to like a double shield or a brawl, because I think the monkey's jumps are gonna be weaker here. Um, because there's not much cover to jump from, I think. So because like this jump main is really open, even if you manage to rotate like here and jump here, you're gonna take a lot of spam in the jump, so you have to like 180 and hide your head, and the bubble's gonna burst before you get your landing off, and you'll get bashed and booped out, sort of thing. Um, I think that basically covers double bubble. I mean, we all know how you play double bubble. You use bubble in the jump, you farm for ults, you farm for nano, you nano monkey, and you sort of play like that. Uh, as for hybrid defense, which is something I think Nephew asked me to go over, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think the way I would play this is definitely with a Sigma. That seems like pretty obvious to me. And because you have Sigma, you have the opportunity to play like a core DPS instead of like a Sombra, because Sombra will be really common with the like a Diva ball comp. But I think it's definitely stronger to have like a core DPS with your Sigma, and to strengthen your backline, because your backline wants to play high ground ideally in this comp, I think. So Sigma up here with like a shield means that your backline is relatively safe as long as you have someone scouting this flank, and someone just like ready to boot them off like a jump here. So it's like as long as you're not gonna get like tapped by a widow because you have a shield, as long as you play like that, then I think backline holding high ground's really strong, and Bush is gonna be really weak for Briggs then.
What about Farah and Echo, both on attack and defense?
So on defense, I
Because
think
that roof is really strong.
yeah, I totally agree. I think Echo, I wouldn't recommend Farah without taking a Mercy, but Mercy makes your backline a lot weaker. And since you're taking Sigma to buff your backline, it doesn't seem like it seems better if you wanted to play like Diva, then you could take Mercy in a Farah or Echo instead of Tracer. Or you can do Tracer Farah or Tracer Echo and just not have a core DPS. So you just rely on like your engages getting value and just like letting your backline like sort of like fend for themselves, I guess. So that's definitely a way to play. I think on attack, it's going to be like more opportunity. You're going to have a better opportunity to play like an Echo, maybe not Farah, because I still think Mercy in this comp is pretty weak. Because like Mercy Zen, or like I didn't mean to cross that out, but Mercy Zen's going to be weak. You could maybe do Mercy Ana so that your Ana can still heal your like people long range, but I maybe wouldn't recommend Farah, but Echo is pretty good. Echo can sort of self-sustain, and the ult's really good, so for sure. Um, I think since Diva is going to be suboptimal because you don't have the shield to like block high ground, uh, yeah, your hits are going to be weaker without Diva. So that's why I think you need Zen just to like discord the slams and make sure you're getting like the extra damage. Like just like amplifying the chance that you get a pick with your Tracer Ball combo with like the hits on their backline for sure. This comp is also really good at like recontests and stuff like that, and you can I didn't mean to do that. You can basically play anywhere on like second and third. So your backline is going to have a really strong time playing here on second. They can even posture forward during like a chase and just spam down through main like this area and then kite back. Especially if you still have Sigma to block off the damage coming in, it's like super free and you can farm ults really easily as then. Um, Third point is going to be fine, I think, just because your ball isn't engaging from main in the same way that like I mean in the different way from Monkey, because Monkey's taking all the spam main, ball would slam from like here coming in, or ball would flank here and come in and slam here. So ball is going to be like way easier to get hits off on their backline on third point for sure. I think that basically covers what I wanted to say about second and third. Yeah, you can just chase really good on ball for sure. Uh, and then there's like double shield, right? So double shield is going to be like the main comp that you face on defense. I think that perfect double shield is going to be like super optimal on defense. Like, assuming you're in like a top tier Overwatch league like vacuum. But I think that a lot of teams, even like I've watched like 4.3k scrims and they're playing it all wrong, just from like streams and stuff. So I think that sometimes they'll play like 5 people stacked on this high ground, and it's just like insane to me because double like Monkey is going to be really strong into 5 people no matter what, just because he can farm primals so quick. And like he's going to take enough spam from 5 people all shooting him that you farm Nano really fast, and which is why I think if you're going to play double shield here, expecting dive, you want to play sort of split. So you want to make it so that any one of their dives can only affect 2 of your people, and basically everyone has like an escape route to their team to you know, like take a brig pack or take lamp or whatever you need to survive, sort of thing.
The thing with the double shield defense is we usually like to play on attack, especially we usually like to play double bubble and hybrid mostly.
Yeah.
But mostly double bubble. We have been like recently playing double bubble on Rialto.
Yeah.
What we're facing is when we get double shield on when we are against double shield defense, our monkey is having a hard time to set up and jump onto them without taking half HP before he jumps in,
Yeah.
because they have lots of pokes. So where can a monkey set up here so he doesn't take quite a lot of damage
So
before he jumps in?
it'll sort of depend on what the double bubble or the double shield that they're playing is, right? So if they're doing, I assume they're doing something like Hanzo Kree, right?
Yeah,
Double
Hanzo
shield,
Ash
Hanzo
or like
Ash.
House Soldiers, lots of poke.
Yeah. So um, that means, and what are they doing, like Bap Zen or Bap Brig normally?
Probably Babzan,
Bap
I
Zen.
remember.
So without Brig, they're gonna. So what they're doing is they're doing all the damage beforehand to compensate for the fact that they can like bash you off once you're already on the high ground, right? So that's like the deterrent. So I would like the routes that I would probably like first think of is like Monkey could jump from here and maybe cleave here, and then Anna could play back here, right? So the only way they're gonna kill your Anna is like a pull headshot with Hanzo, and Monkey can jump up here and then drop back under and just like farm nano and that sort of thing and keep engaging like that. What you could also do maybe is you could maybe swap to like a dive if they have like super mad poke. So you have like Diva Winston instead, and then just Matrix the entire jump. If they don't have Brig, if they have Brig, you sort of need the Zarya to like to stop the bash. But if they have like super high poke and they're in Zen, then Diva's gonna be super playable. You can also think about sending Monkey like bottom left and jumping up this way. It's just gonna be like looking for cover, or you can jump from here and then do the second jump up there. I think that's one that I don't think a lot of people think about. So if you can
Yeah,
get Monkey here, that's like another path in. And then on like other points, I might take a look at second real quick. Obviously like this area is super open, so
yeah,
you
they
might
usually like to set up on the left side of the high
just
ground.
here,
Yeah,
yeah.
right there. Yeah.
So if you can manage to get Monkey under them, like in this like doorway, right?
Yeah.
Then he's still gonna be super open from like this poke. Uh, so what you might want to do is just like hide like here, basically. So like just to the side of it, and then they're gonna have to like open themselves out, and you might consider taking like a sniper instead of double roam DPS. So you could do like Hanzo with Tracer, and Hanzo will get really nice shots on anybody over peeking this angle to shoot your Winston. Um, Other than that, you can maybe think about Winston like engaging from here, but I think that's pretty weak. It's just gonna be like trying to farm the ults to like push through it rather than like winning a neutral fight, because the neutral fight they definitely beat you in that situation, I think. Um, But if they're all playing stack, then you are going to farm primal pretty fast. If you can farm a primal, you can boop them off the high ground, and everybody can push off that for sure. Like
Yeah, I
Arista
feel
won't get
like,
booped, but
yeah, like with the double bubble against double shield poke, it's just if you don't have ultimates, you're basically useless as double
yeah,
bubble.
I think double bubble. It's nice to farm the ultimates though. Like nano primal, only Arista will be able to like stay up there, because of fortify. So
Yeah, I mean certainly, yeah. Like you farm your nano faster than they farm any kind of ult,
yeah, they might get a
and
window if you're doing damage, but ideally you don't do that much damage. You only have like Winston poking and Hanzo headshots for
yeah.
sure. Um, Third point's weird. You can sort of jump on attack as Winston though pretty well. Like, it's not the same sort of poke because you have like this sort of ledge down. It's like sort of elevating. It's like a ramp there, so you can
Mhm.
use that and like quite easily engage on them from that side. Um, yeah, I do cover it a little bit more, or I wrote down a little bit more. But in general, what you want to look at is where the weaknesses in their comp are. So, like I said before, if they don't have Brig, they can't bash you, which means that you might be free to take Diva instead of Zarya, because you don't have to like not get bashed. You know, you don't have to take the anti-CC, and you can take the anti-spam instead. Or, for example, if they're running a Diva, so I'm gonna talk. I have like this idea in my head that if they take Diva instead of Sigma, then they're gonna be better off against divers because Diva can like shift out a diver, right? So and they can matrix any flankers. But then they don't have two shields and you can out spam them. So in this situation where they're like a Diva sort of comp, you can go their version of like a 6-man poke comp. So you would take like Orisa, Sigma, Hanzo, Ashe, Bap, Zen, and you can just break their shield and force cart, and there's no way that they beat you in that situation other than like they out aim you like heavily. But if they take Diva, they don't have a second shield and they can't peek high ground, and if they drop, they're gonna get like actually beamed. So in my head, that's why
Yeah.
people play the double shield instead of playing Orisa Diva, so that Diva can counter dive just in the situation that you take like attacking double shield and just roll them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you just want to look at the weaknesses in their comp and figure out what you can do to like abuse those like and what you want to like win con for. So if you want to play for primal, you can play for primal. You want to force point, play for point. Force their cooldowns with like a hybrid, then you can do that. There's a bunch of different ideas there.
Right.
Now we're on some attacking comps. For hybrid on attack, I think that this version with Diva and Sombra is going to be like optimal. I think on a first point, you can try Echo instead of Tracer. It's sort of debatable. Because you can pack and orb the Echo. You can sort of sustain having an Echo up here. I still wouldn't try Pharah. I think Pharah, because you have to take like a Mercy for Pharah, it makes your Zen so much weaker, and like it's already a glass cannon support line that you'd literally just be playing 1v5 as Zen, and then your front line has to play like a 5v3 or like a 5v4. I'm just like some engages you have Ball. In my experience, Ball really likes like left side engages. So you can swing from like anywhere. You can slam here from this area. You can also slam from up here. You grapple here, you slam and up there. If they're holding the close high ground, you're gonna take a lot of poke coming from main. So I would still recommend coming inside left, grapple on here, come up, slam, drop back. That's like the sample engage that I would go for as Ball. Tracer really likes these stairs. Tracer likes peeking under left, peeking here, spamming up here. Just Tracer likes playing these low guns where they're gonna drop in like a case of emergency sort of thing. So a Baptiste is gonna get forced out. He's gonna drop accidentally, and you just one clip him.
Yeah.
Sombra likes the health pack. This health pack's really nice. This one's okay. This one is a pretty good one to go for because Sombra can translocate here and like peek from here. She can peek from here. Sombra has really nice angles. And Diva is just pushing cart. Your backline's rotating here just for like a decent angle. Diva can hide. Tracer can also push cart, by the way. Like Tracer can hide under this, and there's no way without pull that they can shoot her basically. On second point, you just want to take the routes I mentioned before with like going up the stairs here or left side or going through main and peeking there. And on third point, you have the same thing. Just walk main basically, and then you can flank here. Or just go main. I wouldn't recommend left side here, but there's some really strong ideas and your ball just keeps calling hits, and eventually you just like they run out of resources. You win. I think that
Yeah.
covers that. Double bubble or dive. I should have put Diva just underneath the Zarya as like a valid swap option. But yeah, like double dive DPS is going to be like more playable here than it would be on defense, just because you don't need to strengthen bush if you're going to play bush. Echo can be nice here. You could also take a Sombra instead of Echo. Or you can just keep playing like a core DPS. I probably wouldn't recommend like a pick DPS like Hanzo. I'd probably go for Soldier or like Cassidy or maybe like Torb, but I probably wouldn't do Torb either, just Soldier or Cassidy in my head. And you just play for farming ults, like we said, expecting double shield. If you're in a double bubble mirror, you just go for their backline, they go for your backline, and you just like want to out tempo their engages. So assuming they have a core DPS, their engages are going to be weaker on your backline. So your backline should be able to absorb with like a well postured Zarya, like taking the brunt of the force with like a stealth bubble. And your monkey just does monkey things. I don't know. It's you just go on them and then you go out. Play for ults. This is the point where I realized that there was 10 minutes left until I had to give the presentation, and I hadn't written anything on the sim TP.
Yeah.
So, but you can do some nice ideas. This TP up here, this is a really nice one. You can also just like walk main with like a Rhine shield and TP up here, and then you may walk back here and you kill Orisa and Sigma, and then Baptiste will jump over the wall and try to lamp it, but Rhine swings kill lamp anyway, and that's like a nice idea. As if you're stuck on low ground against the sim TP stuff, like you're pretty much out spammed, out poked. If you were on the, that's why people don't really play Rhine on defense anymore, because a sim up here like ruins you. So unless they can just win the fight and then push cart, they don't even need like they can just leave D.Va on cart maybe, or they can do 6-man up there, win the fight, and then push cart.
Yeah, that sounds solid. I
Yeah,
also we also tried Brawl defense in the tiny room under the L balcony.
this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's like a little room under the balcony. Um, well, the idea was to stay in the room
and
and
just like
just contest
contest
the
point.
point.
Yeah,
But
I
you know,
assume eventually they would have just like swapped Pharah and Echo and just like out spammed you and kept you stuck in there sort of thing until they farmed ults sort of thing. But
yeah,
it sort of gives me the same vibes as like close holding right side, right? With like a similar brawl. So, but I think why spawn holding is better and just contesting cart here instead of here is by the time you respawn, you can get another really solid recontest like here or maybe like here, if you like hold close, and then you can still swap to like double shield on or like a different comp for second point. So you could go like brawl first, spawn camp, and then go like double bubble and play here. And maybe you take a Zarya by default instead of D.Va, and you just like stall for time, force out some point, and then get a really strong recontest. Instead of like playing double shield, I'm playing for one hold. Because like a double shield is not going to effectively retake this cap zone. It's going to be like basically impossible if the enemy's force point, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
true.
But I think it was definitely like a really strong strat like when Brawl was super popular, but I think Brawl just gets like out tempoed a lot and out spammed. Everything is against Brawl in the current moment.
Yeah, Brawl is just
Yeah.
unless you're like really, really, really good at it, it's just
Mhm.
not good.
Brawl, like even Brawl right now picks like spam heroes. So taking Bap instead of Ana seems like weird, but Bap just has better poke. Mei has really good poke. Kree has really good poke. You can take Hanzo if it's a pokey map instead.
Ooh,
D.Va contains poke when Zarya can't contain poke, and Ryan is still just Ryan for playing close in the
yeah,
Lucio, for sure. Uh,
right.
I think
That's
that
good.
covers basically what I wanted to cover in the map review. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Links are in the description. Feel free to interact. A like, a dislike, they're both the same. Comment and subscribe if you feel spicy. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.